Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to break down the really intricate and, let's be honest, often debated relationship between the government and business right here in Ireland. This is the million-dollar question for any entrepreneur, isn't it? Is the government a helpful partner, someone in your corner, or is it just a roadblock of red tape and taxes? Well, as we're about to see, the real answer is way more complex and, frankly, a lot more interesting than you might think. All right, let's get into it. First, we'll look at why the government even gets involved in the first place. Then, we'll check out all the different hats it wears, meet the actual agencies that make up your support team, and then we'll wrap up by looking at how this whole relationship is changing for the future. So, let's start with the most fundamental question of all. Why on earth does the government get involved with business? Because without its rules and support, the game would look completely different. The easiest way to think about it is this. The government is basically the architect of the entire business landscape. It's the elected group that designs the playing field, sets the boundaries, and literally writes the rulebook that every single company has to follow. And look, this involvement isn't random. It's a very deliberate balancing act. The real goal is to create an economy that's stable, fair, and prosperous. And they do that by setting rules, offering support, funding public services with taxes, and, crucially, protecting everyone involved. Okay, so how does that mission actually work in the real world? Well, it means the government has to play a bunch of different roles all at once. You can think of it as wearing a lot of different hats. So, first up, it puts on the referee's hat. As the regulator, its job is to make sure there's a level playing field. It enforces everything from health and safety to consumer protection, and, this is a big one, it steps in to stop monopolies from forming so competition stays fair. And of course, there's the role we all know so well, the tax collector. But here's the thing. Collecting taxes like corporation tax and VAT isn't just about paying for services. It can actually be one of the most powerful strategic tools a country has. And this number is the perfect example of that. Ireland's world-famous 12.5% corporation tax rate, that's not just a random number. It is a massive strategic policy designed to be a powerful magnet, pulling in huge global companies and investment from all over the world. But it's not all about policy. The government itself is a huge economic engine. I mean, it's one of the biggest employers in the entire country. It puts hundreds of thousands of people, teachers, nurses, civil servants, to work, which creates a really stable foundation for the whole job market. It also plays the role of a coach or a supporter. Through all sorts of different agencies, it offers real, tangible help to businesses. We're talking financial aid like grants and loans, but also really invaluable stuff like advice, mentoring, and training. And finally, if it's the referee and the coach, it also kind of has to build the stadium, right? As the infrastructure provider, it invests in that fundamental framework, all the roads, the ports, the high-speed broadband, that the entire economy needs to even function. Okay, so these roles all sound great in theory, but they aren't just abstract ideas. They're carried out by a whole network of specific agencies, a team that you can actually go and talk to. So let's meet the team. If you're running a business, who are the key players you need to know? Let's do a really quick speed run through the main ones. So two of the big ones serve two totally different groups. On one side, you have the local enterprise offices, or LEOs. They're the go-to spot for local startups in every single county. And on the other side, you have IDA Ireland, whose job is to go out and convince the world's biggest companies to set up shop right here. What's so cool when you lay it all out like this is you can see the entire support system mapped out. You've got LEOs for brand new local ideas. Then Enterprise Ireland helps those Irish companies scale up and go global. At the same time, IDA Ireland is bringing in the huge multinationals, and then an agency like SEAI is there to help absolutely everyone get more sustainable. There's an agency for pretty much every stage of a business's journey. But here's the thing. This whole system isn't set in stone. The government's role is constantly changing. It's adapting its focus to meet these huge new challenges and opportunities that are coming down the line. Yeah, the whole conversation is starting to shift. It's not just about growth at all costs anymore. The new focus is all about building an economy that's more sustainable, more digital, and just more innovative for the long haul. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, you can see this new approach popping up everywhere. The government is actively trying to shape a new kind of business culture, one that's greener thanks to sustainability grants, smarter through digital investment, and more daring by making it easier for entrepreneurs to get started. It's all about making the whole system more resilient. And this quote just nails the modern approach perfectly. It's becoming less about trying to pick winners and more about cultivating the right soil. Creating the best possible conditions where new ideas and future successes can just grow all on their own. Which, brings us right back to that central question we started with. In a world that's changing so fast, that line between helpful support and just too much control is always being redrawn. Finding that perfect balance, well, that's the big challenge that's going to define this whole relationship for years to come. And it definitely leaves us all with something important to think about.